Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cosplay Tea Time, a fun community of cosplayers bringing you podcast recordings where we'll talk about different anime themes, fandoms, the art of cosplaying, holidays, colors, and so much more. And today we're going to be discussing cosplay contests and misconceptions that may happen with cosplay contests. So we're going to be sharing our stories, sharing our tips and tricks, and a whole lot more. But before we get into all of that, as always, we'd like to start with our lovely guest and tea sippers, starting with...
Hello, everybody. This is Ackley Attack here today. I go by he, him, and his pronouns. So you can find me on, of course, YouTube at Ackley Attack TV, as well as, of course, on Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, TikTok, Patreon, and that's just to name a few, including Instagram under my handle, Ackley Attack 4427. And I am here cosplaying as Barbara from Genshin Impact as a ballerina, and quite fitting enough, given to, of course, my costume as of now, what I have with me inside this wonderful mesh bag, as you can see here, is my extra pair of course, some wonderful ballet slippers for me to dancing for sure, because, hey, given to my character, I'm always down for a great performance, hands down, and ironically enough, this is, of course, my second time showing off my ballet cosplay on this podcast, because, hey, if it happened a third time, then it'll be a charm. So, Bella?
Thank you. You look beautiful today. And you do too as well, Jen. Hi, my name is belladonnarose.cosplays. I go by Bella Rose or both. Bella Rose said together, which actually it fits. And on Instagram, I'm belladonnarose.cosplays. And on TikTok, I'm belladonnarose.cosplays. I have a link tree in both bios, so you should see all of my other social media pages and things going on in there. I think I just updated it like a week ago. So yeah, just go ahead and have fun, take a crack at it.
Sounds good. Well, thank you both for joining me for today's tea time. So we're going to get into it in just a moment. So as always, my name is Jen. I'm the founder of Cosplay Tea Time as well as today's host. I go by she, her pronouns. You can find me TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Jen.Cosplays45. And today I'm cosplaying as Fairy Nora. Second time cosplaying her this year. Second time cosplaying her as a on this podcast as well. I was her I think about a year or so ago on Valentine's Day, so be sure to check out that podcast after this one. And it's so funny, Ackley, you brought up your ballet shoes. I actually wore my ballet shoes outside to take some videos and photos in the sunset and everything. But before I put on my shoes, I realized I still had on my otter socks. I have like little socks with little otters on, and I'm like, I don't think this is appropriate. So they're cute and adorable, but don't quite fit the aesthetic. So I had to take them off real quick, put on my shoes, came back in, put on my socks, like, oh gosh. The joys of being a cosplayer. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up our little introductions and everything. So we're actually going to do one icebreaker question for today, which is, what is your current favorite movie or show that you are watching? And no spoilers, especially if it's arcane right now.
Well, I guess that's a pretty good question on my part, because as someone who actually really loves doing movie reviews on his YouTube channel, which I have been doing for a long time now, there's a lot for me to go through, and I know this year hasn't actually wrapped up just yet, but I hopefully have a lot going on as of now, and I think in terms of my favorite movie, pretty much as we speak, it's kind of hard to say on my part, but I guess in terms of this year, I would probably have to say my all-time favorite as of now would probably be Spy Family Code White. I find it to be a absolutely a great movie, hands down, because as someone who actually hasn't actually checked out Spy Family just yet, I figure it's actually a really great way to really get me in, of course, while be actually in for as of now as like a outsider or a newcomer to the anime for sure, because I do acknowledge its popularity, hands down, and I I think the movie actually did a really fantastic job being what it needs to do, and I'll be quite curious to see on how the rest of the Spy Family anime will actually turn out once I do finally watch it. So yeah, and yeah, I guess that's one good example, and I could go on and on several others from what I can gather that I've seen this year. But for now, I think I'll save it for what I need to talk about on my side of things. So I guess for the sake of this, Spy Family Code White is currently my all-time favorite as of now.
Yes, the spy family movies are really fun.
Mhm.
I I only remember the first one, but yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, the spy family, spy kids, spy family. I think it was on uh, Disney or one. I was watching it. It was really good. A show that I am absolutely obsessed with is Arcane. Let me tell you, it is so good. I'm crying. Also, I'm cosplaying Deku today. I forgot to say that at the
Oh,
beginning
you're
of the
okay.
podcast. My apologies.
It's okay. It's all good. Yeah, I think My Hero Academia season 7 should be wrapping up soon. It's been going on for quite a while, so but it's in the video. So
I like
Arcane, we
that
got
too.
Spikes,
I like that
Food.
too. Uh,
Yeah,
we're still rating on Ruby, but that doesn't mean that we can't rewatch episodes or
so,
we can find it.
mm-hmm.
DVD.
DVD.
You know you already got it.
I
You
got
know.
I got the Ruby Justice Leagues on YouTube movie video thing, so I do a rewatch of that here soon because they're pretty good movies and all that. So let me see. Favorite movie at this moment? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I've been on a Studio Ghibli rewatch. It seems like once a year I just go and I watch a bunch of just Studio Ghibli movies, and Howl's Moving Castle will always be one of my favorites because I love the animation, the music, the story. It's so good. And then my TikTok feed finds out, and like every other video is something Howl's Moving Castle related. So always a good time. So speaking of good times, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up our introductions, icebreakers, all that good stuff. We're gonna actually go ahead and dive right into today's topic, which I'm gonna take a quick sip of tea because this is a lot of writing. So actually, we have another guest in the Cosplay Tea Time server by the name of Mars, who has actually helped me come up with questions before, come up with themes and all that stuff. So especially when I get stuck on different topics, which is definitely this one, cosplay contests. Like I knew they existed, I knew they were a thing, I knew we were going to talk about this one day, and finally this year I got to participate in one, which we'll get to here in a minute. But Mars was very kind and very generous to give me some information to share with folks about the different types of cosplay contest and what to kind of look for. So here we go. Okay, so we have popularity-based contests are based on how much people or an audience like the costume. You can buy your outfit, there's usually no requirements to enter, there's no judging involved other than perhaps walking across a stage and seeing how loud the audience applauds. That sounds intense to me. The winners are often visually impressive from a popular series or from a funny show or moment. A hall contest is the traditional kind of anime cosplay contest, purely craftsmanship based. You generally need to make around 70% or 80% of the costume by hand, but the more the better. The contestants have a private meeting with a panel of judges for about 5 minutes or so, during which the contestants have to explain how they made their costume. The judges will ask questions, and they'll physically inspect your costume up close. Walking across the stage is the runway, sometimes called a showcase, sometimes called a bunch of other things, depends on the convention. Sometimes the runway/showcase is only for hall costume contest entries, in which case it's optional and the stage portion has nothing at all to do with who wins. So sometimes it's a separate thing entirely, and hall entries that want to walk across the stage have to sign up separately. These often aren't contests. Then we have cosplay masquerades, which we talked about before. We actually talked about during this season, during our ballet recording. Masquerades are skit competitions More often than not, they include a judging portion of about 5 minutes, exactly like how cosplay contests do. Then there are rehearsals, so the tech crew can get familiar with any sound and lighting issues and fix those while the cosplayers can figure out exactly where on the stage their props will go. Then at the end of the day, they complete their skits on stage. Masquerades usually take both craftsmanship and performance into account. Today, Cosplay Tea Time will be talking about their experiences with cosplay contests, such as how to prepare, what to do during a contest, and other fun information. So, just want to say to you a heartfelt thank you to Mars. Thank you for the information. Thank you for helping come up with the questions so we're able to talk about this fun topic. So, that's pretty much the little spiel. So, excuse me, we're going to go ahead and get right into our questions, with the first one being, have you participated in a cosplay contest? If so, where at, and who did you cosplay as?
All right, well, I guess on my part, as of now, I guess to answer the question, I say yes, hands down, but it's not just one that I've actually done. I've actually done several throughout my 11 years, going to exactly 30 conventions by far, and I guess, if anything, I think it did start all the way back in like 2015, to be honest, when I first started trying out cosplaying for myself. Where I went to one convention that I went to around that time because it's a little something as new territory on my part, just to really get myself in. Of course, what I've actually done, and I think the first time I actually did it, it was of course a little skit that I actually did around that time, to be honest, and I think I was cosplaying as Ash Ketchum from Pokemon at that time, and I figured it'd be a good idea to do like a Pokemon version of course, the a little sketch from Monty Python's Flying Circus entitled Spam, and I guess if anything, I think it was, of course, the first time I actually did by far, and for while I don't think it's actually the best I've actually put together, it was, of course, my first attempt at what it'll be like if I'm actually a part of a cosplay contest, and of course, as the years go on, when I actually start to do more cosplaying at conventions, I've decided to sign up for more and more cosplay contests just to see where I can actually get at for sure. And over time, I'm actually starting to actually really build myself up to get where I need to be, and I even expanded a whole lot with what I can actually gather in terms of course, the cosplays I'm actually showing off, and of course, some possible new performances that I would definitely love to do, hands down. So yeah, I know only one will be pretty much be a good pick for me, but I think I know I've actually done several, and there's like so many to account that I always sometimes lost count. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Bella.
Thank you, Ackley. Uh, I have been a part of a couple cosplay conventions, but it's only been at one con because I'm only able to go to that con as of right now. It's just a con that uh, you know, everyone's comfortable that I go to. So I just, yeah, I get to go to at least one con once a year. So lucky. Some cosplayers, they don't get to go to any cons at all, or maybe they're not ready yet, which is understandable. But back on the question, I've cosplayed at conventions twice, doing their costume contests. Well, I've cosplayed doing the costume contest twice already. It's at SwampCon. I did the first one in 2020. No, it was more like 2018, 2019 probably. Um, and I can't remember when the last one was, but it was definitely soon. My memory's a little bit, uh, it's hard to remember stuff these days, which I'm trying to say, but I know I've cosplayed doing like two conventions, like I've cosplayed doing like yeah, so too, like I said, and Yeah, it was pretty easy. The first, I think it was both Ruby. I did both Ruby. Oh, then my only cosplay was Ruby Rose, and that's what I became known for on TikTok at the time. And then I went on my hiatus, and then I expanded, and then we're here. So I would like to do more uh, cosplay contests in the future when I get the chance. But yeah. Until then, I
Sounds
think
good.
one of them is on YouTube. So
Oh, there you go.
I from the 2019 one. That was my first one I did.
Oh, gotta record it. Gotta save it. That's awesome. Sounds good. Okay, let's see. So, I participated in a cosplay contest. Yes, I did. First one this year. It's totally unplanned, but they were still accepting entries, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so April 2024, Four State Comic Con in Hagerstown. I actually dressed as Fairy Nora. That's why I thought it'd be fun to kind of cosplay her today and everything. So, but yeah, that was my first one. Was Fairy Nora. So, okay. Let's see. Next up, we have how do you prepare for a cosplay contest? Such as, do you prefer to attend judging slash rehearsals earlier or later? So, what's your game plan?
Well, pretty much on my part, through my experience, it would probably depend of course, what goes on my factor. Like, of course, which cosplay I can actually go for that I think would be worthy enough for me to enter in the hang. And I think pretty much on my part, I think it will also depend, of course, on me having a good game playing and stuff. Like, of course, pretty much showing off on my pretty much showing off on my cosplay to the judges if I want to do a craftsmanship, and even having a bill book on standby, and even a pitch of course on how I actually made this cosplay in its entirety and what the whole process is. And I guess for performances, hands down, I think it would require lots and lots of rehearsals to really get right for sure. And I'm only saying that as someone who actually did do a bunch of musicals during his high school years back in the days before actually getting into this type of deal. But hey, I think that experience I had back in those days really did help to implement on what I need to do for these cosplay contests, hands down. And I think for rehearsals, as of now, usually I think the ones that I would usually go to would actually happen some point around in the late afternoon or the early evening. So I think maybe like pretty much attending rehearsals around pretty much probably about a few hours before that actually happens. I think it would really help to benefit, of course, getting a good game plan going. So that way, if you got something to do before you head to that while attending the convention, you'll have all the time you need to get yourself fully prepared for the real deal.
Okay, so how I prepare for cosplay contests and stuff is so something that I do before cosplay contests or I decide to or anything like that is whenever I'm making my cosplay, I tend to take video of the process, whether I'm gonna post it for everyone to see or whether I'm just gonna keep it for myself. I make a process video, whether I'm gonna edit the footage or the footage is not edited already or edited or something like that. But I I also write down a bunch of notes like before I'm gonna do it, all my predictions and stuff. It's kind of like a science experiment. And then I have that prepared when the cosplay's finished. I have that prepared for if I do take it to a cosplay contest, I can take all of that evidence and that footage and those notes because judges they love to see notes, like any note that you can take about the cosplay, any logs, anything about that you've made of the cosplay. A good judge loves that stuff. They love looking at that stuff, and that'll actually give you more points. And I didn't really realize that till after I did my first cosplay contest. I was kind of like Ruby Rose in her Zwei onesie. The onesie doesn't fit now because I was so small back then, but um, I wish I did that for my Zwei onesie, which I didn't know that I was supposed to do for making cosplays. I have that prepared, and then that's in case if I decide, oh, I do want to do cosplay contest, but I don't have time to make a costume. However, I do have this costume and I do have the notes for it. And I kind of keep, whenever I package the cosplay, I keep the notes with it too. So that way it's just, there and I can just pull it out, it's just there. And it's very much organized, in my opinion. But for a cosplay contest where I do have time to prepare, I do the thi- I plan to present this in a cosplay contest. I do the same process like I did when I wasn't going to present a cosplay contest. The thing is, I would have to keep in mind, how I format my notes
Yeah.
and, my handwriting and kind of be a little more careful because some people we have messy handwriting, some people we have neat handwriting. So it's kind of, you kind of want to be careful so that way, um, you can make sure that the judges are going to read it. Like, really take time to write down those notes. If not, type it up in a Google Docs if
Mhm.
that's better. And, take pictures and kind of put those in the document and stuff. Or you can print it out and then you can show it to the judges. I would suggest that might land you more points though, would be to print your stuff out in color. That way, um, they have more of a visual representation on what you were doing during your process of making your cosplay.
You can go video it, write it down, type it out, whatever it does to help. So yeah, so the contests that I've been to, they already had like a piece of paper where you'd write like the name of the character, the show, and then just like a brief description, like explaining, did you make your outfit? Is it a closet cosplay? What inspired? Like stuff like that, like just a couple lines. And then whenever they would call your name, the announcer person would just like say like, okay, like this is, Jen, she's cosplaying Fairy Nora, and then like kind of explains it while you're walking on stage. So they do have prejudging again at the conventions that I go to. They do have prejudging, but that's more for like the master level or professional cosplayers. Like those ones, you definitely want to make sure you're checking stitches, seams, all that good stuff. So yeah, down to the last detail, and explaining that too. So I feel like you also have to be confident in your work. You have to know your work. You have to be sure of your work, so that way you're able to talk about it in 5 minutes. So yeah, so there's different ways to go about it. I'm sure there's probably, um, whenever they do announce the cosplay contest and stuff, be sure to check like social media. I'm sure you can send them an email asking them questions and all that. When you get to the convention, you'll find a staff member, say, hey, I have a question about cosplay contest. Can you help me? Stuff like that. So it's good to ask questions. Speaking of questions, we're going to go on to our next question. So that wrapped up nicely. Let's see. Next up, we have: do you prefer craftsmanship contest or performance/popularity based contest?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question because, to be honest, I think, again, since I've actually done several cosplay contests on my part, I really like doing both, hands down, because for craftsmanship, it will actually be a really great way to, of course, show off on how I actually make the cosplay and how it actually turn out and stuff. While for performances, I think it's actually a really great way to put myself in and actually get to be someone that I'm clearly not hands down, but I guess in between the two hands down, I do like craftsmanship just fine. But I would have to say I prefer performance a whole lot more because again, given to my background history, doing like musical theater back in my high school days, I think it really did help to implement, of course, what I need to do and stuff for sure. Like, of course, I could do like a very clever skit, or I can actually perform a nice dance for sure. To which I guess in this cosplay, I wish I would actually be in his for sure. So I guess the best I could do while sitting down is just this once again. But yeah, I guess either way, I really do love performances, hands down. Not saying anything bad about craftsmanship, hands down. I really do like that just fine. But I do find myself comfortable doing performances, hands down. And so far, I've only done three as of now. But I do hope to have plans to maybe do more later on, hands down. Maybe for like another cosplay contest that I'll actually enter, hands down, or if I'm lucky enough, within the next year or so, someone will actually book me to actually do a nice performance at a convention for me to do. But we'll leave that for the future to decide on that one.
I really like the craftsmanship ones because you don't feel like um, you're putting all this work in a cosplay and then you're not gonna get to present the amount of work and like the level of work that you've done to people who are actually interested and who would like to see you kind of demonstrate certain pieces on your costume. For example, you might have a nice flowy dress. You might be dressed as Elsa and have this magnificent cape that you can kind of you know play with a little bit on stage to show how flowy it is. If you have armor that moves, for example, if you're cosplaying Vi from Arcane on the costume contest and have like you have pair of gauntlets and you've engineered them to kind of like move like she does when she fights, then kind of characters like that where the costumes can be demonstrative. I feel like with popularity contests, it misses a lot of that. The popularity contest, I feel like it's more about what shows are popular with this that because um mm, there could be someone cosplaying like the same character during the contest or in the same
Mhm.
thing, and then it goes to them, and it's kind of doesn't really seem that ideal in my opinion. Which that's just like that's just my opinion. I don't have any other. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. And it's like this is my thought, and uh, yeah, I, I really like craftsmanship more. It's just the performance and what people can do during it as well. Not like putting on a whole, I'd say like play, but kind of just doing like maybe a 10-second thing or maybe a 5-second thing,
Mhm.
whether you're in a group or not. And I think it's kind of cool,
Yeah.
you know,
Do
even
like
if you win or
poses
not.
or
I think.
something. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
not quite performance, but you're in character and all that. So appeases the crowd. So definitely. Let me see. So I don't know what kind of cosplay convention for State Comic Con has. I think it's more like craftsmanship a little bit, but I know that there is like an award for popularity based on like how loud people cheer. Like that person gets that type of award. So I think they did have a masquerade in Harrisburg. I can't remember now. I don't think I went to it or watched it or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I like the sound of both. So I feel like craftsmanship. I just really appreciate like cosplayers take the time and dedication to like make their cosplays and sometimes I'll like stand in the back and I'll kind of like talk with them about their cosplays and what they do, or I'll find them afterwards and like talk about their cosplays and stuff. But the performance ones are definitely fun. So unless somebody wants to perform with me, I probably won't do one by myself. But yeah, definitely more. Uh, I feel like more craftsmanship, but I like watching. There we go. I like watching the performance ones. Y'all are amazing out there. So sounds good. Let me see. Up next we have, do you prefer to compete in masquerades or hall contests? if hall contests, do you like to do the runway walk on, or do you prefer to just attend judging?
Well, I guess on my part, I know those are two different types of cosplay contests that anyone can enter by far. So I guess pretty much on my part, I haven't actually tried out a hall cosplay contest on my part as of now. So I think for the sake of it and keeping true to, of course, pretty much what I had to say on my part, I would definitely prefer masquerades a whole lot more. I think pretty much being in that environment and actually giving you almost like we're about to give someone a really incredible show, hands down. I think it's actually a really great environment to be in, hands down, and I think I really do feel right at home, and of course, that environment, hands down. And again, even if I did actually go for a masquerade of any kind at any convention I would go to, I could still go for the craftsmanship side of things and still show off my cosplay, or I could still perform a really incredible skit to really win people over. So yeah, that's actually why I prefer hands down. I do have mad respects for masquerades all the way.
I honestly am very flexible. I have no idea what my favorite type of contest is, only because I've done it twice, and right now I'm flexible because I'm still exploring. Out of the 7 years that I've been cosplaying, I've only done contests like twice, so I
Mhm.
apologize. I would like to do more contests when I'm able to, but it's um I just I'm a little bit of a busy bee. Well,
Mhm.
I'm excited for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's okay. I did my very first one. I've been cosplaying for almost 5 years now, and I did my first cosplay contest this year. So trust me, I get it. So I'm usually the one that like stands and like on the sidelines. Sometimes it's nice to find a chair, but sometimes I'll stand on the sidelines. I'll watch people's stuff. I'll take videos and photos. Like I'm that person. So you need me to watch stuff, I'll do it for you. But yeah, so I'll get to that story here in a minute. But yeah, let me see. So masquerade or hall contest again, like I said before, if somebody wants to perform with me, like on a Winx Club, something Ruby related, uh, maybe Rosie and Alistair from Has Been Hotel or something, I'll do it. But the Hall contest, I probably would do because that sounds like kind of like what I did a little bit. Was just like we didn't have a runway; it wasn't like a fancy runway, but you just like walk down the middle, you pose on one side, pose on the other, and then you walk back up. So that's pretty easy. Except in the back of my mind, I'm like, don't trip, don't trip, don't trip, don't trip, smile, don't trip, don't trip, don't trip. So whatever helps get you through that moment. So yeah, be interesting. Let's see. Up next we have I can't see it. For craftsmanship judging, do you rehearse your pitch ahead of time or do you wing it? Same question for walk-on and non-masquerade performances / popularity-based contests, but replace pitch with poses. So do you kind of like prepare your speech for what you might say to the judges beforehand, or are you just like, oh, I'm just gonna go in and say what I need to say? And then also too for like masquerades or hall contests, do you like practice beforehand, or are you just like, I'll figure it out when I get on stage?
Well, pretty much on my part, I think it can be very hard to actually figure out hands down. But I would have to say I definitely do prefer to really pretty much try my hand to, of course, pretty much rehearse my pitch for, of course, this cosplay for sure, or any cosplay in general, just to really give people the idea, of course, how you actually build the whole thing for sure. So yeah, I think if anything, it really does kind of differ hands down. Some people do like to rehearse their pitch beforehand, while others I will have to say do kind of wing it hands down. But for me, if I do want to sound a bit more professional, I would definitely rehearse my pitch well ahead of time for sure to really give them the idea of course, what I'm actually showing off here and then.
So it depends on what we're doing, what theme it is. I remember back in high school, I did an acting class, and I was also part of a club called improv club. And in both of those classes, they told us whenever you're on stage, you need to prepare to wing it during a skit if you're doing a skit. If not, if you guys decide to just wing it, like go ahead, wing it, but you have to make it like you have to feel natural. You have to do it and really be good. For example, um, when it comes to the scripting stuff, because I'm Deku, let's say that I was with a Bakugo cosplayer and we were having an argument from the show. We would follow the script from the show. But
Mhm.
if there was kind of like an improv thing that me and the Bakugo cosplayer needed to do, then you know, it would probably be something little like us coming out on stage in our hero costumes and then Bakugo trying to trip my character. And
Oh.
then my character was like, John, how dare? How dare? You know?
That's cute.
Just something random and unplanned. But as long as you stay in character and you're natural about it too, I think in a setting where you are doing a script, an improv setting, or where you do both because you need to, um, personally, you'll be fine. I felt fine. Plus, I'm
Mm.
I'm a little actress. I cosplay
Mm.
characters.
Kind of
Yeah,
do.
we're all
Yeah,
little actresses in the big world.
pretty much. I mean, when you're a cosplayer, you kind of have to act a bit, especially for photos, TikTok videos, stuff like that. So, yeah, and then on the stage in front of a bunch of random folks. But those random folks are also good, loving people that, they're there for a good time. They love different fandom shows, conventions, animes, Comic Cons, stuff like that. So, let me see, I forgot the question. Um, so I have not done craftsmanship judging. Like I said before, I just did a piece of paper, so I just kind of wrote what I was wearing and was just like, okay, good enough. So, but yeah, I would definitely say, practice makes perfect. So, definitely want to practice ahead of time, practice on your friends, make a notes or Google Doc or something, practice your spiel and all that. So I would definitely encourage, like, definitely want to practice. I mean, if you feel confident, or maybe it's like the same cosplay you've worn before for like 5 or 6 other contests, and you got it down, wing it, wing it. Oh, nice. That was fun. Let me see. Up next, we have for masquerade competitors. Did things ever go wrong in rehearsal, but great on stage, or vice versa? Ooh.
Wow, I guess that's a very tough question on my part because I think from what I can gather, honestly, I never actually had that kind of experience in my entire life when it comes to me entering cosplay contests, hands down. So I think every single thing that I actually do well ahead of time, nothing actually goes wrong on my part because I knew what I'm going to be getting myself into, and I want to give the best I can for sure. And when it finally pays off, once I finally get up on stage and actually do it, I think it really does help benefit, of course, on my part for sure. So yeah, not really anything that is happening on my part as of now, but it may change over time. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Bella.
Actually, relating back to one of the questions, I now remember what the second one was. It was this year. I don't know why my memory blocked that off, but
It's
I
okay.
went to my cousin's like um college because we had like this Halloween party. I sworn to John, I'm always visiting this dude, and like either once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'm always visiting him. But this was the week where I like just was like with him. I was visiting him the most and stuff. I would come back and forth between like my where I am and like he is. But he's like, yeah, we're having a Halloween party on Wednesday. There's gonna be a costume contest. You should come as like one of the new characters you want to be. I'm like, okay, cool. So I dressed up as Nifty from Hazbin Hotel. Okay,
Oh,
there's proof on my TikTok. I now cosplay her. But I dressed up as Nifty from Hazbin Hotel. I got the cosplay all together, and I went and I participated. And one of his friends got video of me like on my phone, like going and doing the thing. And I won second place. And out of the blue, I did a Nifty line and I yelled the "We're all gonna die" line. And with like the evil laugh, and I thought I wouldn't top the laugh, but I did. I'm like, there it is.
oh, that's awesome.
I didn't get on video, but it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty funny.
That sounds funny. Let's see. Let's see. So I've not competed in a masquerade, so I guess everything's good on my end. I guess. Huh. Mm. Yeah, I haven't competed in one, so hopefully, if I ever do, everything will turn out good. So, but it's good to prepare. Let's see. Up next, we have. Do you have a costume or skit that you're most proud of competing in?
Whew, wow, I guess again this is a tough one by far because again I had several that I can actually list at the top of my head that I've actually pretty much have entered in numerous cosplay contests beforehand. Some of which actually did land in big rewards, hands down. So if I had to choose. I think it's a tie between two of my later skits that I actually did, following up to, of course, on my first one that I did, which is, of course, me cosplaying as Ash Ketchum once again, and I did a little skit called Ash Ketchum and the Annoying Narrator, to which I guess, if anything, is, of course, a pretty much just me playing out like a regular old episode of the Pokemon anime in my head, while actually going back and forth in between me as Ash and the narrator for sure, almost like breaking the fourth wall, hands down. And that one was a really fun one to do. All sorts of jokes and stuff that I actually came up with. Got such a huge laugh from, of course, the audience, and that led me to, of course, take third place in the Skiga division, hands down. And yeah, I guess in all honesty, in comparison to a Pokey spam that I actually did the year beforehand, I say Ash Ketchum and the Annoying Narrator was a really fun one for me to do, hands down. And for my second one that I did, well, give it to what I've actually am currently wearing right about now, it would probably have to be the skit that I did last year, which is, of course, the Shining Isle of Mondstadt's special ballet performance for sure. So yeah, I think pretty much I knew hands down when I actually crafted this cosplay, hands down. I figure, okay, if I need to wear this for another cosplay contest coming up, I think I would really want to do a dance skit, and of course this cosplay, hands down. And well, I guess in all honesty, I think for my first attempt at doing a ballet dance skit by myself, yeah, I will admit I didn't actually win pretty much that time around, but I say it's actually a really good first attempt for me to actually do that, hands out. Just me in this outfit dancing to the theme to Swan Lake. It was a whole lot of fun, hands down, for sure. And I think, given to that, I do hope I'll actually do more of these ballet dance skits on my part, hands down, once I actually do get the proper training I need. And of course, ballet in a nutshell for sure, to which we did already mention a long time ago, which was still a whole lot of fun, hands down. And yeah, I do hope to do more ballet dance skits, of course, on my part, not just in this, but I guess several of other of my ballet cosplays that I currently got as of now, and the ones that I currently got planned, because I've already got some good ideas, of course, on my part, and yeah, hopefully if I do actually nail it, I'll certainly be, well, on point on that. So yeah, I guess either way, Ash Ketchum and the Annoying Narrator and the Shining Isle of Mondstadt's special ballet performance, I will have to say those are the two skits I'm really proud of for sure, and I already do have them on a video that I currently have up in my end for sure, so I'll go ahead and pass it off to Bella.
Thank you. Uh, Performance-wise, it would be the Nifty one that I did that I never got on video. It was like, oh geez, that was I think a few weeks ago, a contest that happened. Um, but I never really took this cosplay through a cosplay competition. I was going to for SwampCon 2023, but I didn't. Because at that point last year, I hadn't gone to a convention in a while, and I was like, I just want to do it all at once, but I never really got to because of just timing wasn't so good with me and my friend that, I was hanging out with. But because the costume contest with SwampCon is always on the second/last day versus, what's on the first day. And we were only there for the first day because we could only be there for the first day. She had her thing and I had my thing. But I really wanted to take my Jinx cosplay through the costume contest because I remember I won first place as Jinx last year for Halloween at my own school's costume contest. And it was like, oh wow. I really thought me saying that I lost sleep would deduct me points. Um, and I didn't even bring any of my like sheets and stuff. But I went through the con. Okay, so yeah, I guess I did put Jake through a contest. But I didn't put it through SwampCon whenever I just wanted to. And now it's kind of too late because of things with her. But um, Jinx, she was my favorite to perform in because even though I didn't have the prop at the time. I did what I could whenever I met like different people, and there were just people lining up to get pictures with me, and I'm like, okay. And of course, like with the first part of the con, I was like so happy to be back at a convention. I forgot to act like her. And then whenever after the uh, photo shoot with Dapper Arts and Lobo Shots, because they were like, "You're so cool. Can we do free photos?" I'm like, okay, sure. And like after that. I just started getting back into character again because I got like more and more comfortable being in the character, and then I don't know, I just played the character, and then I did with the rest of the people that I cosplay, but between Nifty and Jinx, I really liked playing them. With Jinx, there wasn't a skit; it was just like kind of acting like her, and then with Nifty, there was like kind of okay, pull a line skit. Pull a line.
Sounds like me. So it sounds like a good time. So let me see. So I promised I'd deliver this story. Actually, well, I was thinking about it just now. I'm like, I think I have a more detailed version on my YouTube video, the 2024 Four State Comic Con vlog, just to kind of summarize that. So I'm walking around convention, and actually before the convention start, I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna look for Ruby merchandise. I'm gonna look for this fandom, and I'm like, okay, maybe the Dragon Prince. I find something. That's the Dragon Prince Monopoly, and I was just like, you're coming home with me. I go to purchase a Monopoly set. There's two older gentlemen there, and they're like, oh, we like your cosplay. So we start talking about it, talking about the show, the inspiration. They're like, you should be in a cosplay contest, and I'm like, okay, no. I don't do cosplay contests. I'm a very anxious person. I don't like it when all eyes are on me. It's very, very stressful time. So I was just like, no, it's fine. They're like, you should try it. Like, have you done it before? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, today's your lucky day. I'm like, oh gosh. So they're just like, go to the table. They'll help you out. So I just went to the table just to look for information. I was like, people here are very sweet. Maybe they'll talk me out of it. They did not talk me out of it. So, but that's a good thing because eventually I did have fun. But I signed up for it. They're like, okay, like be back here, so you can do it and all this stuff. Okay, cool. So it's like a 2 hour, like just like waiting for like people to get called and all this stuff. But while I waited to be called up and everything, like, I met a bunch of nice people. We were talking about Ruby, we were talking about cosplaying and all this stuff. So But yeah, they called my name. I go up to the front, do my little walk around, like kind of do like a cute little curtsy and all this stuff, and I walk back. And I was like, okay, like that wasn't so bad. But as soon as I walk back, like I start shaking. I'm just like, what the heck did I just do? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like how did I just do this thing and all this? And I'm like shaking. But everybody's like, no, you did great. You were fantastic. I didn't win, but I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of nice people, and I feel like that's kind of what it's all about. So that's my take. So there we go. Let me see. Up next we have, what is your best skill when competing?
Oh wow, I guess for my best skill, hands down, is I think honestly to me, I think pretty much from what I can gather, I think my best skill, in my opinion, would probably have to be pretty much showing what it would be like if I'm actually the character I'm actually cosplaying as for sure. Even in different outfits such as his, I still want to represent the character the best I can for sure to really make it my own hands down to really show off the best I can for sure. And yeah, I definitely do think that is my best skill by far whenever I'm competing. I definitely want to make the character my own, hands down.
I say my best skill is uh, manners, like manners, how I present myself to the judges and to the crowd and stuff. That's something I've kind of taken pride over a little bit with, being human, being a cosplayer, because I never want people to feel uncomfortable. And if you do, let me know. It's unintentional. Uh, I'm just a little old lady in a young person's body. Uh, but I say just the way that I present myself is kind of a strong point. I'm the child of a businessman, so I kind of, tend to present myself properly. I've learned a lot from, you know, that person. So it's kind of pretty cool that I get to do that uh, because it helps me be more confident and become much more comfortable very quickly, actually, to, being in front of judges and explaining my costume and stuff and feeling more natural. Uh, because, you're just there to, have fun. It's like, hey, hi,
Yeah.
this is my costume. This is me. This is who I'm playing. This is what I've done. Enjoy the show, the notes, the this, the that.
Yes, like that. Alright, so let me see. Best skill when competing, I guess walking. Eventually my feet did lead me to the front, which I do have to say, there's two gentlemen that encouraged me to do it. Like, I should be thanking them because it was fun to just kind of like be in line and talk with other cosplayers and stuff. But yeah, I'll say like walking up was my best skill. Got up there. Hey, it's a start. So, alright, so then on the flip side of that, what is your worst skill when competing?
Oh wow, I can name a few by far, but I guess to me personally, it would probably have to be someone who is pretty much someone to deal with who is expressing poor sportsmanship, hands down. Those are the kind of people that really likes to brag about their costume and say that they're gonna win, hands down, and sometimes they'll pretty much be happy and gloat about it to other people, or sometimes they would actually pretty much being anger and disgust, saying that they should have won instead of this other person hands down. And yeah, I really do think that is probably the worst skill by far when it comes to entering a cosplay contest, hands down. And I do believe that I am one of many people who actually do believe that expressing good sportsmanship is actually the best way to go, because let's face it, there's a lot of other cosplayers that are competing in the same contest as you are, hands down, and chances are they might have a 100% chance of winning over you, hands down. And And well, I guess on my part, if you actually lost to that person, you don't take it as an insult. You have to take it for what it is and say to yourself, okay, how am I going to pretty much improve myself and actually pretty much come up with something better to win them over hands down. So yeah, I guess either way, someone who is expressing poor sportsmanship hands down, that is probably the worst skill that I know me and everyone else can actually learn hands down when it comes to entering these cosplay contests.
I feel like my um, worst skill, my weakness right now, it's a weakness. I'm working on it as a strength. But my weakness right now is um, timing. I have so because I have auto processing, I sometimes I process very slowly. Sometimes I don't really hear correctly at all. Um, if I'm not given a cue to go, I'll kind of feel a little bit lost until someone is like, "You can go," because a part of my mannerisms also is to have someone let me whenever you can walk because in a costume contest you might not it might not be your turn to walk because the person's still doing their thing. They might run back on stage if they forgot something, and then you might come out and walk out in the middle of them, which wouldn't be good. So I would, even with timing too, I would give about a second after they've kind of left the thing. But if I feel lost and I don't know what to do, I'll kind of look to the judges or ask like, "Can I go? I'm so sorry. I just
Mm,
because my time is a little bit off, and it might fall, it might get the contest to fall behind a little bit, but
mm,
um, I'm kind of just working on my timing right now. I feel like that's
yeah,
my weakness, like my worst skill. But I'll get it. I
you got
believe in
this.
myself.
If not,
Yes.
you could reframe it as a dramatic pause. It's like I'm waiting. When she coming now? When they coming
Yeah.
now? So here you go. Maybe. I don't know if that helps, but yeah. Let me see. Worst skill slash skill that I'm working on. I guess what to do in cosplay. Like when I get up there, do I just stand there? Do I pose? What do I do? So that was like me for like half the time that I was like standing back there. Is like, what the heck do I do? It's very gnarly. Like I had my wand and I was like, well, I could wave it around and stuff, but then I was like, I don't want to do that. So I think I just like opted for like a curtsy because it kind of like helped show off the bottom of the skirt and stuff. So I just like curtsied and then I just like walked along. Yeah. So yeah, try to figure out different poses and then like what to do in the cosplay when I get up there. So it depends on the cosplay, depends on what's going on, and depends too if I have a friend. Maybe one day. We shall see. Next up we have without naming the convention. Have you ever had a really bad experience? Fun horror story time.
Oh I can definitely name one by far, and this is going all the way back last year when I actually performed my pretty much my ballerina bar dance skit that I actually did by far. As cool as it is for me to perform in that, and trust me, I'm still really proud of it, hands down. The cosplay contest I entered, well, I have entered twice beforehand, and that year was of course a really good comeback by far. So I think it did start off normal, hands down, but the only problem with that is that the people organizing the whole thing actually were falling way behind, and of course getting everything ready for the main show, hands down. So yeah, they actually did start off the craftsmanship just fine, but they didn't wait until sometime later for us to get right on to rehearsal for skits and stuff on my part, and I think the show started extremely late. Then pretty much then it was pretty much advertising the schedule by far. So we were left waiting there, exhausted, sweating, And of course, let's not forget to mention backstage, yeah, we were feeling the pressure on when it's actually going to start, hands down. And I do recall, I think my feet were, of course, starting to ache a whole hog, and actually felt tired, hands down, especially with me wearing ballet slippers on a hard floor, hands down. So yeah, we were actually really exhausted, and the cosplay contest ran much later than what was actually advertised by far. But I knew hands down, despite that bad experience by far, I did say to myself, you know what? I'm still gonna go out there. I'm still gonna perform my skit and give it all that I got, and that's exactly what I did. And I do know the cosplay contest at that convention where I performed my skit at last year did improve as of this year by far. But currently, as of now, I think I pretty much don't have any plans to pretty much enter again anytime soon. I mean, I will hands down, depending on what I can actually come up with hands down, but that will probably depend on, of course, pretty much what I've got that I think would be worthy enough, hands down. And I think that bad experience they had, especially for the people organizing it, I do hope they've actually learned their lesson, and I know hands down they'll never actually do something that crazy ever again, hands down.
Uh, I don't think I've ever had a horror story. Um, doing costume contests. I know I have a couple horror stories, not doing costume contests, which you can save that for later. Uh, next spooky season, because those were a little spooky. One of them did involve my Jinx wig. Suspense till next time. Yeah, yeah. But I don't really think I've had any horror stories doing contests. I might have had fantasies of what could go wrong, and then cosplaying these characters anyway, and then nothing goes wrong for these contests. But yeah.
And it's all the anxiety in your head making up these little scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? Like, could you just don't for 2 seconds?
Like fantasy demon,
Exactly.
fantasy demon. I'll
Exactly.
pop you. I'll pop you, fantasy
Yeah.
demon. Stop.
Oh goodness. Yeah, let me see. So I don't have any bad experiences, scary horror stories with cosplay contests necessarily. Most of the time, whenever I go, it's just people vibing, we're hanging out, chatting about shows, chatting about cosplays, and we're all cheering one another. So, whenever somebody goes up, we're like cheering the loudest and stuff for that person. So, especially the little kids. Oh my gosh, little kids cosplays. They're so cute. The cosplays that I go to, they start with the little kids, and just the chorus of ahs that you hear in the corner is like, oh, like, look at them, they're so cute. We're all trying hard not to cry, like our makeup off and stuff. Great times. So, yeah, I don't have any bad experiences. So, let me see. A couple more questions and then a couple key points I want to touch on. So, up next we have, do you make slash build books? How long is your longest one? We're talking about cosplay books.
Well, I guess on my part, I am familiar with, of course, a pretty much a build book, hands down, for sure. In fact, I've actually seen quite a few from what I can gather as of now. But I guess in terms of one of my own, I don't have plans to actually do a cosplay build book as of now. But I do hope later on down the road, I would definitely love to put together one while working on my newest cosplay for me to show off. So that way, it will definitely come in handy for when I'll actually show it off for the next cosplay contest, hands down. So yeah, no plans on my part as we speak, but I'll definitely keep that one in mind for when that'll come around.
So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, episode with how I prepare for a costume contest, before or with a cosplay in general. The second I start planning that I want to do a cosplay, and I start putting that plan to go ahead and do that cosplay in action, is the second I start. I grab a separate notebook, like a physical notebook, and a bunch of padded like paper with,
Mm-hmm.
I like sticky stuff. I have pens and paper pens, like pa paper pencils. Pencils aren't
Paper
flat.
pencils.
Yeah.
I like it.
But the colored pencils, I mean, yeah, I'll
Mm-hmm.
get colorful. I'll use such like yeah, I'll draw sketches on like little Winx Club faces that I'll either sketch or I'll trace out from the internet. Give myself a visual representation of what I want. I'll do mini
Mm-hmm.
sketches as the plan keeps changing. Um, and I kind of just like I'll fatten that notebook up. I'll make it a whole big
Yeah.
file.
Oh my God.
But I'll write down everything that I do. I'll write down the history behind a costume, if I've designed it from another era or if it's from another era, like that. Stuff about the characters, like how I want to do things a little bit differently with um the cosplay. Uh, I will buy the materials and I will make sure that they'll come in um months before, maybe a couple months before I start working on the costume. Unless I'm desperate and I want to start right away. Okay, I'll start right away. But I will, with the second that I start building that costume, is the second that I will take multiple pictures and videos and stuff of me also making this costume. I'll write down notes. I'll write down, like all the stuff. I'll share my process up to social media so that way, in case if I lose those notes, I can go to social media and I can take screenshots of them and kind of put them in a document and print them out in a color. Um, or I'll just, rewrite them down in a new notebook in case if, the old notebook gets damaged, you lose it, you know, it gets misplaced, where the heck it goes. Just, you know, I I do the math. I take video, I take pictures. I post my process to um usually my Instagram story because on my Instagram you
Mm-hmm.
get to see more than just videos like TikTok. You get to see like pictures, maybe like some past videos, maybe some, things of what I'm working on, my greatest excitement, all my adventures. That's what my Instagram's for, it's like for the public. Like go ahead. I'm inspiration worthy. If I
Oh,
don't inspire you, I'm not for you.
there you go. Make that a motivational
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah, if I don't inspire you, I'm not for you, and that's fine. I don't have to be your cup of tea.
Mm.
It's the tea time. Whoa!
I know, right?
Uh,
So,
your biggest rose. I don't have to be your cup of tea.
I know.
Nah, you can make whatever you want, Jen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the second I start, I say to myself, I want to cosplay this character. Is the second I start putting I get a new notebook and I start putting everything together once the project is a go.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's more like
Yeah,
cosplay tips and tricks for beginners. Like we've done that kind of podcast recording before. So, but thank you, Bella,
yeah,
just kind of going over like
yeah.
what
And as
new
long as the
cosplayers can do.
costume, yeah, that's how long you build up your cosplay build book for that character. That's how long it
There you
takes.
go. There you go. So, yeah, that's interesting
Okay.
enough. So, just to wrap up this question real quick. So, I do not have a cosplay build book. I feel like I don't have a lot to really show and all that. So, I'm going to take Bella's route. Just follow my Instagram and TikTok and you'll see all the behind the scenes. So, yep. Okay. So, this is actually the last question on the list, and then I'll kind of go over like a couple key points after. So last question is, which cosplay contest will you be competing in next?
Whew, wow, I guess I think pretty much on my part, I think I know probably by the time if I do plan on going to more conventions, I would definitely love to go to pretty much try to enter more of these cosplay contests later on. In fact, I've already got several that I want to definitely want to compete in hands down, but that will probably depend on, of course, pretty much. Pretty much on if I can actually come up with something that I think will be worthy enough for me to actually try out for sure. And even if it is, then I'll get right on to doing a lot of hard working, of course, prepping everything to get myself all set and good to go for when that comes around for sure. So yeah, I would definitely love to compete at more cosplay contests, hands down, but I won't say which ones, hands down, because I've got several in my mind that I've always wanted to do. But I will say, currently, as of now, I'm currently offered to be a cosplay judge for a cosplay contest that'll be coming up for one convention that I'll be going to next year, to which I've already been to this year, and it was a whole lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really excited to see on how that'll go down. Though I guess I never actually judged a cosplay contest before, so hopefully I think with some tips and tricks I'll actually get from other cosplayers that have actually done it, I might get all the information I need to finally do it myself, hands down, and see on how we'll go for there for sure. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I can say on my part. So, Bella?
I actually am not sure when the next costume contest gonna do, like cosplay contest, costume contest. But so it's official. I plan to go to SwampCon 2025, and Cosplay Tea Time has a big surprise for you guys at SwampCon 2025. Um, Hopefully we're still doing it 2025. By the time it comes around. They just released the dates for SwampCon 2025. And I just got authorization that I can go from my family and from my manager. And um, I'm also doing something special with a few friends at the con. So stay tuned for that information soon on my social media. And I really hope at SwampCon 2025 I get to do the costume contests again. I I really want to do it so bad. I want to do a bunch of stuff at SwapCon too. So
I hope so. It'll be exciting to see. So, got a lot of stuff going on.
yeah, especially for cosplay tea time,
I
bro.
know. We got this. That's this coming weekend. We'll have that meeting, so good times. But yeah, which by the way, I wanted to bring something up towards the end, so I thought of an excellent idea. But real quick to wrap up this question that was on the list. I'm hoping to compete in another cosplay contest, either Hagerstown or Harrisburg, because also too with Cosplay Tea Time, I do want to have a panel in Hagerstown since we had our first one in Harrisburg. So I'm like, okay, we got to even out the scale a little bit. So I don't know if I want to do panel and contest all in one. That's a lot. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I know Annapolis Comic Con is usually the first one that I go to since it's in early April, but I cannot remember if there was a cosplay contest. I'm gonna check out their website later on. So if it was that one, that's fine. If not, Four State Comic Con, it's where my heart is at. So, all right. And with that, that wraps up all of my questions that were on the list. There were two key points that I wanted to bring up. The first one was individuals with disabilities, either physical or invisible disabilities, in cosplay contest. I believe, I'm going to fact check myself, but we do have videos on our channel that address those topics, and I believe we had a couple questions regarding cosplay contests specifically for those videos. I'll have them linked down below, but it's just things like how can we make things more accessible, what to do, things like that. So I did want to point that out. the other thing I wanted to point out too, and Ackley mentioned this a little bit in his spiel earlier, which was showing good sportsmanship. I feel like that is very, very key. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to just show off cosplays, get to know one another and everything. So if you don't win the competition, it's okay. There are other competitions, I'm sure, but just be a good sport. Like, hey, congrats on your win. You know, just be a good person. Just be a kind person. So yeah, I did want to bring that up as well. So I do have one question, but as always, I like to wrap up, see if guests and tea sippers have folks in the tea room here or for viewers out there. So Ackley, any questions or thoughts?
Well, I guess no questions on my part, but I think for my closing thoughts were, of course, this one. I do hope that everyone watching this will take note of course, everything that we've actually talked about. So if you're willing to actually enter a cosplay contest yourself, don't be afraid to just be yourself and show off your costume as best that you can. And if it actually works out, then brilliant. I think you're going to be in for something really great, hands down. While for me, I know hands down I've got plenty of other cosplay contests that I'm looking forward to entering to hands down. So whatever one that comes my way, I'll be ready for it hands down. Yeah, especially with, of course, in any of course, pretty much any one of my cosplays that I actually got. Like, of course, what I got right here.
Oh, very, very adorable. Love that. All right, Bella, any questions, last minute thoughts?
Have any questions? I don't think. No.
Sounds good.
No.
Okay, so here's my question for you two, and I might pose this later on in the server if I remember. But okay, so what if, first of all, I need to either invent teleportation or we need to find a way to get everybody from Cosplay Tea Time to a convention, and Cosplay Tea Time did like a cosplay contest or even a masquerade. What would our theme be? What kind of like costume cosplay design would we do? Because I have an idea, but I want to hear if you guys have any ideas. I like how Bella's calling now. See, I saw.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, I think on my part, I think it would be interesting to see on how it'll go because I know there's several ideas that we can actually try out hands down. But I guess for me personally, I think probably more on the lines of this is probably gonna sound crazy. So I think I'm probably gonna pretty much really going to get myself a good laugh after hearing this. So hear me out on this. I'm kind of thinking pretty much having it be Ruby mixed in with either Downton Abbey or Bridgerton. I honestly do think those could actually work hands out, and you can actually do something quite fun and elegant with this idea. And well, I guess given for Waishni, that might be something up her alley by far.
And Blake, because they drink a lot of tea, and Blake likes tea. So I
Yeah,
love that
yeah,
idea.
yeah, exactly.
Mousy just mentioned something.
Okay,
Mousy said we should uh do like just a tea theme
just tea.
sort of cosplay tea time thing because like cosplay tea time or cosplay tea time. So I think that would be a lot. I feel like that would be a bit more much better because everyone can come in their own cosplays for like their own thing, and it can kind of be like how we come to the podcast, but it's like we have like little tea bags and stuff,
Oh,
or
the
we're
lazy
drinking tea. We have
town.
crumpets, or
Yep.
we have like a little. We can make like a little not just a panel room, but we could also do like a little social. We could all make something, and then when people come in, they can have like they can like get like a goodie or something.
Mm.
Like and like during the panel or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not goodies, like
Yeah,
edible goodies, and it's like
you have to be
the
careful because you have to
one
like
person
sign
that found
paperwork.
out food in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
Okay.
could do it. But, like a good idea I was thinking about too, which Mouse has mentioned it, is we could do snacks where you don't make crumbs. Yeah, or we could offer out water or something, like a drink.
I know.
Water, preferably.
Yeah, my work, I have like individual like chip bags for like my kiddos and stuff. So they're usually mess free, not the Cheetos, but usually pretty mess free. So
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Yeah. Come as you are, eat, laugh, be merry, stuff like that. I love the Bridgerton Ruby crossover. I didn't know I needed, but I need it now. So, cause I like both series. I like Ruby a bit more, but Bridgerton is also very good. So, let me see. So my idea was Alice in Wonderland theme. So, because we have Mousy, Springy could easily be the White Rabbit. We all dress up as like different characters and everything, and then just like do like a skit or something, like as just Cosplay Tea Time, Alice in Wonderland crossover. I don't know, something silly came into mind when I was talking about it. I'm like, we should do something. If I could just gather all of us up and put us in one location, that'd be great. So yeah, just something fun to play with. I'll probably post it in the server later on, see if folks have other ideas. So yep, so that was pretty much it. Oh yeah, Bella, did you wrap up all your questions and thoughts? For sure.
I was just cheering you on, like, yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. No, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So, with that, I believe that is it for cosplay contest / misconception. So, we'll probably have a question down below for folks to respond to as well. So, speaking of folks, if you're a cosplayer out there and you like to join Cosplay Tea Time, make sure to message us on our Instagram, link trees down below. Also, make sure you follow and support our lovely guest and tea sippers here. You must be 18 years or older to join. We'll get you into our Discord, get you squared away and everything. So it's just a wholesome group of cosplayers. Talk about cosplay, animes, fandoms, different things. So we do these little fun podcast recordings, which is always a blast getting to hear stories and answering some fun questions. So that is pretty much it for today. So I just want to say too, thank you, Ackley, thank you, Bella, for joining, sharing your experiences. All that good stuff. So really, really do appreciate it. With that, we're going to go and take off into our corners of the world and all that good stuff. And as always, we just want to say thank you so much for watching. We hope everyone's taking care, staying safe, and as always, keep stepping away. Bye, everyone.